Check. 1, 2, 3. Check. 1, 2, 3. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 1 of PuddingChats, a new kind of content that I'm adding to this channel that we can kind of upload throughout the week to give you some more stuff that you can look forward to day in and day out. This is a podcasty style of audio/video where I take user submitted questions and answer them and give my opinion or advice or whatever type of question that we may get submitted either through email or Tumblr or Facebook. However you guys feel like submitting questions. Links to everything are down in the description below. Or if you are just listening to this, you can just check out my website, puddingforever.com. That's PUDDING, the number 4, and then EVER.com. So today we are going to be talking about the birds and the bees. This was an interesting question that I got from somebody on Tumblr that I thought was a great topic to talk about, especially for today. This is something that I think a lot of people kind of struggle with when it comes to, talking about sexual reproduction and that kind of thing. I know I've read and heard from various people that, the school systems don't do a good job of kind of explaining it to children. Some, obviously some schools do, some schools don't. But it's definitely an interesting topic that I think we can definitely all benefit from. So before we get started, this is being recorded live. So welcome to everybody here that is live in the chat. Please keep the chat PG-13 and or not trolly. I appreciate it. You'll probably get banned by my amazing mods. And if you are just listening to this after the fact or watching, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate the support, the likes, the comments. Definitely give me your feedback on if you like this kind of podcasty sort of thing. If you are watching this, you can obviously see I have a lovely image of Nick Cage in the background. He's going to be joining us today. But no, that's just a tease to a future video that I'm going to be doing sometime soon. Kind of like a little tribute to Nicolas Cage. I find that his name is very ASMR inducing when you say it in a certain way, or just saying it in general. Nicolas Cage, very ASMR worthy. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So the question, like I said, comes from Tumblr. And it's from Anonymous, who asks, when your child one day asks you where babies come from, how will you explain it to him or her? And again, I thought this was an interesting question because if I think back to when I was younger and my dad explained, or had the talk with me, it was the talk is always, cringe-inducing or cringe-worthy, unless if you have that kind of relationship with your parents where you can be very open and talk to them, straight up about these certain things. If that's not the case for you, it is kind of cringy. It is kind of like awkward to have this conversation, because I know in my experience, I knew about sex even when I was like super young, like really young. And people can say like, oh, children are being exposed to sex and sexual related things earlier and earlier on. But back in 1990s or the 1990s, back when we had like the black cable boxes and the fuzzy channels and stuff like that. That's how I found out about like sex and porn and stuff like that. So it's something that I knew when I was way younger. I used to go to a Christian school, and we used to experiment as kids. Not in such a devious way, but again, we kind of explored those things as young people, as young individuals. So this is something that I think has just been going on for forever and ever. So I think that kind of adds to the awkwardness of having the talk with your parents, because it's like, I guess by that point you may already have an idea of what it is and how you do that and how you do this, and that. And so like having your parent try to, explain it to you as if you didn't know, um, is just a little weird. But I guess, I'm looking here in chat and some people are saying like they've never had the talk. And so that's kind of interesting. Sex ed at your school was horrible. Yeah, no, I agree. Sex ed at my school was not that good. I think we only had like a couple of classes worth of sexual education. Like there wasn't like I can't even remember like what my sex ed class was. So yeah, I can agree with that. That again, the education system doesn't really do much to kind of inform young adults or just young children about these things. And I'm the kind of person that feels like in education and information is so much better. Like educating your children and informing them about these things is better than not, and then trying to keep them away and shelter them and hide them. Because with that, that good information and again, education about these sorts of things, they're better prepared in dealing with these and handling these situations whenever, they may happen to come about in their daily lives. Rather than freaking out, not really knowing what to do, how to do things, and how to stay safe. People say abstinence is like the best form of like child protection and all that stuff, and it's like no, it's more education and knowing how to stay safe and how to take care of yourself in those kinds of situations. So I wanted to kind of tell the story of like how I was, I had the talk. I remember my dad had taken me to one of the local park districts, and it was funny because I'm not quite sure how he brought it up to me, or how he asked me to like, hey, let's go to the park. I want to talk to you about something, like that sort of thing. But I remember on the car ride there, I kind of had an idea of like what he wanted to talk about. I don't know if I had a girlfriend at the time or something like that, to where he felt like it was like time to have the talk, I guess. So we went to one of the local park districts and kind of walked around a little bit, talked about school and this and that, and then I think we sat down on a bench. And then, he just brought up, like, so, I know you're kind of getting older now and this and that. And, are you having sex? Are you doing any of these things yet? And, I was like, I answered however I answered. I think my approach, the way I took to it, I was just kind of like, I kind of already, I kind of already, I know what it is and how to do this. Like, you don't have to tell me. But obviously, him being my father, I was just like, all right, I'll listen to you and kind of, you know, take your side of things and take your advice with things. I know me and my dad, my parents divorced when I was very young. So, I had to go to my dad's house like every other weekend because I lived with my mother. So I didn't really, I mean, I had a good relationship with my father. I've always had a good relationship, but like we would always fight a lot about like, random things. Cause he had a certain way of thinking when it came to certain things. And I had my certain, kind of certain way of thinking. I felt that I was more open-minded about things and more accepting of like, or trying of new paths to do certain things, to just live your life basically. My family grew up, or my family, my family, I mean, even now was like a Christian family. So like but they're like hardcore Christians. So like they have like, they live by certain values and certain things, and they don't do certain things. They do certain things. They talk about certain things in a certain way that is, that coincides with, being a Christian. I never really connected with that religion. I understood it. I understood, like the meanings and the purposes. And obviously, like my grandmother was the pastor of like the church that we would go to every weekend. So like it was just all always involved with our family. So I couldn't really get away from it. But yeah, so, my dad always had, the point I got off on that tangent was because my dad always had like a certain way of thinking and kind of like an old school feel to the way that he, would give advice and feel that, he had a certain way that you should, a way of thinking that you should grow up and live your life according to the way that his dad taught him and his dad taught him, and so on and so forth. I was kind of the generation that was like breaking away from that, like that mentality, that way of thinking, of being so super, religious about things, because again, times are changing, things are different. And I just never really connected with that. So again, I was very open-minded about things. So, basically when we had the talk, things were cool. I kind of like, just allowed him to talk and listen to him, and, kind of give my input on things, and like let him know what I was doing, what I wasn't doing. And so, yeah, it wasn't that bad. So, going back to the actual question, of, how would I explain it, to my child if I had one. This is another tangent I can actually go on, is like children, and whether or not I want children or not. But I'll talk about that after, like what I would give my advice if I had a child. But yeah, I would basically just kind of, lay it out, like, look, well, first of all, like I said with yesterday's podcast, when it comes to timing and how to time certain things to bring up, I would definitely wait till my child was of an age that was maybe early teens, probably like the beginning of high school is probably when I would wait to kind of have the talk with him or her. Again, I know the things that I did when I was in like elementary school, before high school. And those were some interesting times, again, exploring yourself as a person, exploring your humanity, exploring different things about yourself. But I think a good time to kind of have that talk is when you kind of like enter high school, you enter that like next level of like interaction with people, because high school is a checkpoint. It is like the next kind of phase in your life, when you are exposed to way more people, depending on your high school. If you have a larger, high school, or a school that has, a larger amount of students, going in and out every day. But you are kind of the majority of the time, exposed to more students and more types of personalities and people and connections that you can make. So I think I would definitely wait till probably, like the beginning of high school, maybe a couple months in, after they've made a few friends, made a few, groups of people and circles that they've kind of come into. And then kind of, have that sit down and talk, and just, kind of just lay it out flat, really explain what it is. Talking about it isn't really enough, though, because like you kind of have to like have some type of visual in order to really help, your child understand kind of like what's going on. Because if you're just giving the hand signal, like, you put your little pecker in the thing and you just kind of do that, like that's not sufficient enough. You have to kind of, maybe bust out like a science, like an anatomy textbook, and talk about the different, human organs and how those things work. And, because obviously it's also not enough, I don't think, to just give your child an anatomy book and be like, here, just read this and learn about it, and then you'll be fine. Like, that's not good enough, at least in my eyes. Like, you have to sit there and actually like have a conversation. And because not only does it, kind of help maybe calm the nerves a little bit, as far as like the tension between the subject and you and your child, but it also creates like a sort of bond, a sort of trust that you can have with your child. Because I mean, that's important. There's a lot of people out there nowadays that I've run into, that I know, that haven't had good relationships with their parents. And, I've been fortunate enough to have good relations with my parents. And, I definitely don't take that for granted. We've had our fights, of course, and we've had our disagreements and stuff like that. But overall, my relationship with my parents has been pretty good. But there are a lot of people that don't have that. And, it's on the parents' part to kind of, really make that connection and bond with your child, and be able to let them know that, hey, you can be open with me, because I've been where you're at. I've been at your age before. I know kind of what you're going through. So if you have any questions, please ask me. I'm here for you. Like, they need to know that, and you really have to like build that trust with them. So this is explaining this type of like, touchy, sensitive subject is a huge way to kind of connect with your child and really show them that, look, you're going to experience things in your life, and I want you to be able to talk to me about it so that I can help you grow and get through these things that you are going to experience, because it's inevitable. You can't shield your children from drugs and from sex and from the things that the world has to offer. They're going to experience it whether you like it or not. So it's better to kind of be there with them as they experience these things, so that you can help explain things and help them understand what's going on, rather than just throwing them into the wolves or trying to shield them, causing them to overcompensate and overdo things whenever they do experience these things. Like when you just, going quickly into like, trying to shield your children from drugs and from alcohol and stuff like that. Like, kids get into that stuff pretty early. Whether you want to believe it or not, they get into that stuff pretty early. So I think that it would be better to talk to them about it and have them understand, look, like, this is what this is how it's going to make you feel. And if you overdo it, these are the negative things that can happen. And I want you to be honest with me whenever you do these things. If you're going to go to a party, please, for my sake, don't drink, just follow the law. This is good, blah, 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 blah. Like, have these conversations with your children, and be there, be present, because that's hugely important, hugely important, I think. But yeah, so getting back to the sex talk, I would just pretty much just lay it out flat, have some type of visual textbook that I can show, and explain the different body parts and what exactly they really do, and how sex happens. And then I wouldn't go as far as into, talking about like, like going too far with this sex talk, as far as like going into like kinks and like this and that, at least not immediately. Again, I would wait a couple of years until maybe they're a little bit older and they're a little bit more experienced and can fathom these things that are going on, that again, they're going to inevitably experience. The whole point is just talking to them, making sure that this is going to happen. I want you to understand. I'm going to explain it to you, and I'm going to be here for you if you have any questions. That's kind of like my whole kind of stance behind that thing. So that's how I would just be 100 with it. I wouldn't try to like hold anything back, or try to like sugarcoat what goes on, because again, education and information is better than what's the word for that? It's not denying. It's blissful ignorance. Education is better than ignorance. Again, for just looking forward to the future and being able to have that information available to you as you experience things as you go forward. Oh yeah, and then of course, just looking at chat, talking about consent. Consent is hugely important. Obviously, that would be a huge part of the conversation as well. Making sure that you're not just going out there doing things and expecting things to happen to you just because you want them. Like, sex requires a two-party consent. that's a huge deal. And so thank you for reminding me, for mentioning that, because I'm a huge person that will always advocate consent, and making sure that the person that you're with is agreeing to the things that you want to do, and vice versa. That's my answer on the topic of today. I'm going to go ahead and take some questions from the chat here that's live. That's kind of the format that I want to do these podcasts, is to, have a topic, talk about it for a little bit, and then take some live questions, because as always, every day presents a new challenge and a new situation that, you might have a question on. So, let's see. Someone asks, want your advice on asking out a girl I like. That could be a simple answer. That could be a complicated answer. The short form answer of that would be ask her out. I know it's not as easy as said than done. I used to struggle a lot with confidence issues, and I would always get those like really, really big heart palpitations, or that kind of, I guess, anxious feeling. Not anxiety. I mean, it's probably anxiety, but like obviously a very like low form, because I believe that everybody experiences anxiety in some way, shape, or form. That's just kind of like a human condition. But I would always get this anxious feeling whenever like I wanted to go talk to a girl, or I wanted to go like ask somebody out, like not even out on a date, but like, hey, do you want to go to prom? Do you want to go to this dance together? Do you want to hang out after school or whatever? Like I would always get that like really anxious feeling and kind of like overthink things and like think of 50 different ways on how to say what I wanted to say and how to talk to them and how to approach them. I used to go through that. So like I understand where you're at, and I think most males go through that, and even females too, because this applies to both. Because I don't think that it should just be males asking females out. Like if you're female and you like a guy, go ask him out. Like go say hi. It's a two-way road, and everyone should be able to go approach somebody that they are attracted to and say hello and meet them. And if those feelings aren't reciprocated back, then again, you move on. But yeah, so advice on asking out a person that you like, I would definitely think beforehand on the situation that you have with the person. Are you already friends? Does this person even know you? Because if they don't, then obviously you don't want to just go up to them and be like, hey, let's go out. Like you got to take it in steps. You got to take it down a notch and start from the bottom. Like again, introduce yourself, say hello, kind of make some small talk, try to see, ask them what they're about, who they are, what they're into, and see if you have some type of compatibilities. And if you feel like you have a striking conversation, if you feel like that this person is into you, ask them, hey, do you want to go get some food sometime? Don't necessarily like make it I wouldn't say like make it weird by like asking, like immediately asking to go out on a date, but just to invite them to some type of event. Hey, I've got this going on in a couple days. Would you like to join me? Or hey, what are you doing later on this week? It'd be awesome if we could hang out and go get some lunch or go get some dinners or whatever. Just start very small. Just start by having small interactions with this person to kind of feel them out. Let them feel your energy. Let them feel your vibes. And eventually you'll get to a point where you feel comfortable enough to be like, I think this is a thing. I think we have something. We have some type of chemistry. Do you want to make this a date? Do you want to kind of go the extra level? But then that kind of brings me to the whole thing about like what exactly is a date, especially nowadays. Because like I could easily just hit up a friend and be like, hey, let's go do something, let's go to the movies, let's go get dinner. Is that considered a date? Why wouldn't I be able to consider it like a friend date, like, or a friendship kind of date? Like what is a date, especially nowadays? And I think you can go on a date with anybody, really, and it doesn't have to mean anything. It doesn't have to be any specific thing. A date is just a date. It's just a date. It's just a reason to hang out with somebody and to enjoy somebody else's company. But yeah, just start small and work your way up, and eventually, maybe you'll get to a point where things become a little bit more what you want it to be. And if not, again, there's so many other people out there that you'll probably find interesting and have that similar connection that you had with that original person that may have not been kind of compatible with you or not interested in you. And that's perfectly fine. My first date was at a food court. That's cool though. I mean, like, how old were you though? That's not really bad. I like, let me see. What other questions do we have here? We'll answer a couple more. You and your best friend go on dates all the time. Yeah, see, exactly. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Just have a good time. It's just a reason to share some company with people and enjoy a good time. Scrolling. Your boyfriend made sure you and him could be friends before he asked you out. Yeah, see, I'm of a similar kind of thing where I would rather make friends with you first before trying to date, before trying to make anything serious. Like, because again, I would rather have a friend and somebody that I can connect with on some level, for again, for whatever reason that we connect on, than not, because I try to jump the gun and be like, hey, I like you, you're attractive, let's fuck, let's go. Like, people, that's how people ruin connections instantly, by like being a dog and just kind of like making that other person feel comfortable. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, that's not that's not a good way to like make a connection with somebody. Like, make friends with somebody, see if you can be compatible, because again, just like yesterday's talk about kissing my ex and being comfortable and friends with my ex, or one of my exes, like, if you have that friendship beforehand, it makes the relationship that much better. I'm the kind of person that is how do I even word that? Like, if I'm in a relationship, I'm looking to like make it a thing, for like a long, like I'm in it for a long time. Because then it's like, why else? Why would you be in a relationship otherwise? If you're not trying to work towards finding a partner that you can share your the rest of your life with, if that's what you're interested in, or share life experiences with, why are you in a relationship? Why would you waste somebody's time like that? Because if you're not looking for that, then just have acquaintances, have people, have friends that you can enjoy times with and enjoy dating, and just leave it like that. Like, why go through all the trouble of like getting into a relationship that you're not trying to make something out of? So yeah. But sometimes it ruins friendships. And yeah, that's true. Dating does sometimes do that. And again, depending on your maturity and depending on the mentality, and again, the things that may have happened in the relationship, it could just be one of those things where maybe at the end, instead of fighting, instead of like whatever, you kind of come to the conclusion, as with I did, or how I like to do is kind of be like, look, if we were friends beforehand, we just didn't work out as in a relationship. So again, mature people should be able to kind of continue being friends. Again, depending on what happened in the relationship, depending on how that does, I think that it's possible for people in a relationship to kind of come down a level because it didn't work at that level of being in a relationship. Being boyfriend girlfriend, or boyfriend girlfriend, whatever. I think that there is a way to do that and have that. Again, if both of you can realize, like, look, things were much better with us just friends, being able to do whatever we want, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's just how it is. Again, because I have experience with that. So I feel that is a possible thing. Yes, this is Nicolas Cage in the background. And then, all right, let's see. We'll answer one more question. Let's see. You need as much advice as you can get. We'll ask your question. We'll see if we can answer that. You gave an ex the time of day once. Worst mistake of your life? Again, yeah, it just all depends on the situation that has happened between you two, how the relationship ended, what mistakes were made, etc., etc., etc. Let's see. Do I have any tips on getting back in touch with an old friend or crush? I have hella social anxiety. I'm terrified to talk to him. Um, let's see. I guess my question to you would be, why are you trying to get back in touch with them? Is it to, again, remain friends? Why did you stop being friends? Like why did you guys fall out of touch in the first place? Because that could have a lot to do with how you would kind of go forward with reaching out to this person. Like, were you guys friends at once? Did you guys kind of have a falling out? Or was it more of somebody that you used to kind of be friends with and like you liked, but time and life just kind of pulled you guys apart and you just want to like kind of reconnect? Because if that was the case, then it should be as easy as just hitting them up online and being like, hey, how are you? How have you been? I mean, literally, that's what like 99% of conversation, or how 99% of conversations work. It's just a simple hello. Hey, how are you? What's going on? I haven't talked to you in a while. This is what my life is like. This is how things are going on with me. What's going on with you? Again, ask them for a chance to kind of meet up or go do something. Invite them out to like a certain event. It all starts with a hey, hi, and hello. And I think if you do that, you might have a really good chance of reconnecting with this person. And you said an old crush, so I would definitely. Well, I guess there's two ways you could go about it. Because if you're looking to again connect with them on that kind of level, a level above a friend, just a friendship, you could. I would probably just wait and not bring that up and not be like, hey, I used to like you and this and that. Like, I wouldn't bring that up right away. I think that would be an interesting kind of conversation point as you guys kind of got more comfortable talking to each other again, talking to each other more frequently. But yeah, because that is kind of cute, after you guys have been talking for some time and just kind of bringing that up, like, hey, you remember back in this day, like I used to kind of like you, like I kind of had the biggest crush on you, and then they'll have their response, and then you can probably bring up the fact that you still do, and see kind of where that goes. But yeah, thank you guys for your questions. I super appreciate you being here. Those of you who are here live, and of course, those of you listening to this after the fact, thank you for listening. We will be back in a couple of days. I want to do this kind of content like Monday through Thursday, or Monday through Wednesday, or just however it works, because I think next Thursday I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be in New York next weekend for another meet and greet. I'm going to come out with a video tomorrow about that. It's kind of like an official announcement for that. But if you guys don't know, I've been running a campaign to raise money to travel the world, basically, and meet you guys and hang out with you and connect you with other people that live in your area that, know about ASMR, or that you may not have known before. I know it was great when, because I just got back from Seattle, and it was great to kind of introduce a lot of you guys out there to each other, and it was really nice to see some new friendships blossom from that. So that's kind of like the purpose of these meet and greets, is to meet you, connect with you, say thank you in person for supporting me and being here, and spend the day with you, and just kind of, again, just really connect with each other. So again, as always, links to or information is in the description box of my YouTube videos. And yeah, that's pretty much all the news that I have for today. Again, I want to do these just frequently throughout the week, to kind of have some content in between ASMR videos. And ASMR videos they're not going anywhere. I know some people last night expressed their negativity for this new kind of content that I'm adding, which again is in addition to what I'm already doing on this channel. I'm not taking away ASMR videos. I'm not becoming something else. I'm just adding a new way to kind of talk to you guys and interact with you on a live basis. Because as I said yesterday, I love being live. I love interacting with you. I love talking to you guys. And being able to kind of be maybe another voice of reason, a neutral kind of party with different ideas and things that maybe you never have heard of or just need a reminder of day in and day out. So again, thank you guys for being here. I will see you in a couple of days when we continue. I will be here back on YouTube with a live ASMR session as per usual. Again, follow my social media for info on all of that. Check my online schedule, etc., etc., etc. So I love you. I hope you take care. And as always, keep dreaming. Bye, guys.